me, addiction and mental health was kind of the pandemic within the pandemic.
The year was 2020 when a bustling world stopped in its tracks, turning lives across Minnesota, the country, and the world upside down. The pandemic is hard for so many people to relive between the deaths, the loneliness, and financial hardships. But for others, it was a darkness very few understood. Tonight, in another edition of Six Inside, we're showing you what some consider to be one of the most painful times of our lives through the eyes of former addicts, some who were left with a life or death decision. My co-anchor Maisie Olson shares their stories and the endings they never thought possible.
Yeah, Robin, tonight we are taking you inside a counseling support group that ignored Minnesota Governor Tim Walz's order to shut down in-person services back in 2020. And for those that refuse to listen, they say it's a decision that saved their life.
I always told myself that I didn't really have a problem because I knew lots of people who drank, but not a lot of people who drank like I drank.
For most of her adult life, Danielle Lawler has struggled with alcohol abuse. And just down the road from Rochester in Stewartville, it's a battle Sue Orris knows all too well when she had her first drink at 14 years old.
I think I had an addiction all the way back to that first drink because it was like an obsession.
But what both of these women did not know was how much worse their addictions were about to get in 2020.
So it just kept getting harder and harder and harder. So then I ended up hiding, bottles of vodka around the house. I mean, I was drinking a bottle of vodka a day.
It's like there was really never a moment of sobriety in there because if I stopped drinking, it's like I got sick.
Both Sue and Danielle started their day shaking so violently, they say their only relief was to pick up the bottle again.
I would have to get up and take a few shots in the morning.
With the world shut down, nowhere to be and nothing to do, the addictions became harder to control.
I could tell that I was on the brink of losing everything.
Danielle says her fiance was ready to leave her, and Child Protective Services entered the picture. Sue had just marked 1 year of sobriety, but felt herself inching backwards.
So all these places shutting down, it was terrifying. I mean, there was a lot of us in group that, we were scared. We're just we're talking to each other, what are we gonna do?
So they tried the only solution available, telehealth. But with services on the go, so too were attention spans. And that face-to-face connection was impossible through a screen.
I knew that I was going to need something more because I didn't feel comfortable sharing things when I felt like nobody was really even listening.
That's when addiction specialist Tim Walz made a choice.
I said one day I'm going to stay open. We're not going to close.
And when Minnesota Governor Tim Walz's executive order came down that March, at Recovery is Happening, the doors stayed open.
To be honest with you, I didn't know if we were going to get shut down or not. I didn't know if I was doing the right thing. I knew I was doing the right thing for these people, but I didn't know if I was doing the right thing according to the COVID rules.
It saved my life. I am so grateful that he chose to do what he did because it completely saved my life. And I know it saved a lot of other people's lives too.
Such a sign of relief. Because for me, being a chronic relapser, I needed that group.
I was at a point where my addiction was going to end up killing me. So to me, the risk of relapse was far greater than the risk of getting COVID.
So they decided not to stay home, to come in and fight this battle of addiction together during the pandemic.
For people to get well, this is the medicine. The medicine is face-to-face interaction, seeing yourself in other people's stories, being able to relate to somebody, being able to trust somebody.
And for Danielle and Sue, the medicine worked. Danielle, now married and a proud mother to her son, found a passion in helping other children as a para inside Chatfield Elementary School, a job she never thought possible.
And I'm like, they'll never hire me. I just had a DUI less than a year ago. But I applied and I got hired, and I absolutely, I work with kids now. I absolutely love my job.
After years cut off from her children, Sue finally became the person she always wanted to be.
To hear the words mom and grandma again after so long, it's like the best gift and joy I can ever ask for.
There's certain songs that I'll hear on the radio that will make me think of my life back then, and I still I still get so overwhelmed sometimes that I cry with gratitude, because it's just like, this life has been better than any life I could have ever imagined.
Because half a decade later, all are happy, healthy, and sober.
Today I do have a purpose. I'm a mom, I'm a grandmother, I'm a wife.
They say, you know, you have a pink cloud for a little while after you get sober, and I'm 4.5 years, and it's like I still have that pink cloud.
I look back, you know, 5 years later, I did the right thing. And this was survival. And this was survival for some of them. You know, we buried a lot of people, but I didn't want that to happen on my watch.
Now, this story does hit close to home for me, because I have a very special person in my life who has been sober for more than 30 years. I'm so proud of him, and I know Tim, Danielle, and Sue, you guys should be so proud of yourselves as well.
That's right. And Tim actually took all of those experiences and wrote this book about it. Tell us a little bit about that.
That is right. So that is what inspired this story tonight. Now, he wrote this book. It's called In Their Own Words, Recovery Amidst the Lockdowns. We do have more information on how you can buy this book, and there's a book signing that's coming up. That is on our website at KAAL-TV.com. It's more positive stories like Danielle and Sue's, and the pandemic was really hard, but there was, you know, a lot of strength and resilience that came out of that.
So much of that. Oh, what a great job, Maisie. Thank you so much. And if you have a story that you want us to go inside of, just send us an email. That's news@KAALTV.com.